Hi, I'm Steven with AlbertaUrbanGarden.ca. So in today's episode, we're going to do some apple tree grafting. This is a great way to take one tree and get a bunch of different varieties of apples out of it. You can purchase these at most greenhouses, but today we're going to try to make our own. So you need a couple of things. You'll need a very sharp, thin, rigid knife. You'll need some apple scions, which you should probably collect in about April in zone 3. Depending on your zone, it'll need to be earlier and earlier, and it's really before any buds break. And what you do is you cut off the 1-year-old growth. You put that in a Ziploc bag with a little bit of water in it and put it in the fridge. That'll keep it dormant and alive and ready for this point. Now we're in the end of April, beginning of May here, so it's starting to bud out, which is the perfect time to actually do the grafting itself. You can do grafting up to the point where the leaves are about the size of a mouse ear, which is kind of the perfect timing. So we'll do some simple grafting, and then in a couple of months we'll follow up and see how these grafts are doing. One thing I do have to say with grafting, especially if you're not going to use some of the commercially available tools, is it doesn't have a perfect success rate, which is fine. Just learn and try, and I've had a tree generously donated that I can learn on before I go and try it on my apple tree at home. So what you'll need is a scion. Now you'll want to collect these in the beginning of April before they actually start to bud out, because you'll notice the difference here. You've got buds coming out, and this one the buds are still in their fall configuration. This is actually a pear variety, and apparently, and we're going to test this out today, you can graft pears to apple trees. So what you want to do is put that knife away safely for now. You want to freshen up the cut. What that means is this part right in here has dried out, and you want to have one bud kind of above to work with, so we'll cut just above the bud to freshen that up. And the same thing on the other end. You'll notice that I'm not sure if you can see it, but there's a green layer, and that's the important layer here. So you want to make sure you find for this this cleft graft roughly the same diameter part of the tree, and so that's a little bit up here. And so what we're going to do is we are going to cut below a bud, get rid of that. So you want a nice, strong, stable, thin knife to do this with. And what we're going to do is you want to make sure the buds are oriented the same way. And with the scion, you want to cut the two sides to create kind of a wedge. And then be very careful about this and slow. You want to slowly rock your way into the center of this tree. Don't want to go too far. Then you slowly, I guess you could use the knife to wedge this open a little bit, but slowly push this into the cut that you've made in the rootstock, which is the term for the tree that you're grafting onto. So once you have it nice and wedged in there, what we want to do is, starting from the rootstock down, is get a good firm contact. Now the taping is a very important part to keep water out. Water is your enemy in this situation. You want to do it nice and tight. Now there's all sorts of grafting tapes available. This is actually a type of greenhouse tape that is used, but you can use all sorts of different types of tape to do this. And all you really want to do is to make sure that you have a nice firm contact. You start from the rootstock, because that'll typically be where the water starts from, and move your way down. And what you do at the end, make sure you've left yourself enough tape to do this, is a slip knot. Sorry, I have very large fingers and they don't work so well like this. I'm trying to keep everything nice and tight. You pull that through and tug on it. There we go. We should be good and taped now. And you want to watch this as it starts to heal it will bulge out a little bit in about 6 to 8 weeks, and all you'll do is carefully cut this tape and just let it fall off, and the tree will take it on the graft and it'll heal itself. So the next step is a wax. So this is actually a grafting wax. I've seen lots of people use other things, but we figured we'd stick with this one. You don't need a whole ton, but what you want to do is you want to cover any of the open areas to the elements to prevent disease and decay from setting in. So we'll just make sure that it's got a nice clean seal on there, and that should be it. So we'll leave this for a couple of weeks and we'll come back and check up on it. We're going to go ahead and do a couple more grafts. We've got, this is a spicy pear. We've got 2 different types of apples, and we're going to see if we can't get some of them to take to this rootstock. So it's important to mark, and just flagging tape will do, and all you want to do is lightly put it below the graft point and tie it on. So we've tied on the identifiers for the pear, the Alberta apple, and this is the M360 apple, and it's just to make sure that you remember which varieties you're attaching where, and it also helps you keep your head from knocking them over the next 6 to 8 weeks. So just to recap, what we've done is we've taken scions in early spring from the varieties we want. We've put those in the fridge. We cut kind of a couple-inch sections of them, put them in the fridge with a little bit of water, kept them dormant. We took them out when the rootstock, so the tree we're grafting these on, was starting to bud. We did a cleft graft. There's many different types of grafts, but this one seemed the simplest for the beginner. We taped them really nicely. We put grafting wax on the end. There's all sorts of different products that can do this. It's just to keep the water out, and we've labeled them. So now it's time to wait. 6 to 8 weeks, we'll know if this is really taken off or not. Thank you very much for joining me. I appreciate it very much. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and a subscribe. If you'd like to continue the conversation, please join us on Google+ and Facebook. Those URLs can be found in the description below. Have a great day.